Welcome to Wisdom Unveiled. We're back for another deep dive, bringing you insights from, well, profound places. Today marks episode 26 in our special 40-part series exploring the incredible world of the 12th century Persian poet Ferruddin Attar Nishapuri.
That's right. And our journey today, like the others in this series, draws from some really fascinating conversations with Iranian philosophers, Dr. Ibrahim Dinani and Dr. Esmail Manzouri Larijani, specifically from their Marfat audio recordings.
And just a quick heads up for you listening, this deep dive is essentially a translation and reproduction of those original discussions. So some nuances or specific details might not translate perfectly. We do apologize if anything feels a bit off.
It's always a challenge bridging language and culture, but the core wisdom hopefully shines through.
Absolutely. So today we're really plunging into one of Attar's major works, the Musabatnama, often translated as the Book of Affliction.
A huge undertaking, that work.
It really is. And we're focusing on a particular, really captivating section featuring the hero, Saliki Fikrat, the seeker of thought.
Ah, yes, the seeker. A very unique protagonist.
And his conversation in this part is with Prophet Moses, which is just, well, packed with meaning. Our aim today is to unpack how Attar uses this story, Moses' story, to explore these huge ideas. Divine communication, what the self really is, and maybe most importantly for you listening, our own human connection to the unseen.
Right. And Saliki Fikrat, the seeker in Musabatnama, is fascinating because of how he seeks. He doesn't just read or meditate in isolation.
No, he talks to, well, everything, doesn't he?
Pretty much. Inanimate objects, plants, animals, angels, and, as we're discussing today, prophets like Moses. It's this method of active experiential inquiry that defines his journey.
It's like the universe is his classroom, and everything in it is a potential teacher. So this specific conversation with Moses, Attar starts by painting a really vivid picture of Moses' early life, doesn't he? Very humble.
Extremely humble. Attar shows him as a shepherd wearing a simple garment called a gilim. Think rough, plain wool. Not the image of a powerful prophet we might expect initially. And Attar really zooms in on a key quality here. Hilm. It means forbearance, patience, gentleness.
Which makes sense for a shepherd, right?
Right.
You need patience with a flock.
Exactly. And Attar implies it's just as essential, maybe even more so, for a prophet leading people, that grounding in Hilm is fundamental.
So it's a spiritual quality being highlighted through this everyday detail. How does Attar then show the shift from Moses in his humble Gilim to becoming Kalim Allah, the speaker with God? That sounds like a massive transformation.
Oh, it is. Kalim, from the root kalam, meaning speech or word, signifies someone who speaks directly with God. No intermediary, it's intimate divine conversation.
Wow. Direct access.
But here's where Attar introduces a beautiful, sort of paradoxical idea. Even though Moses is the Kalim, the speaker, Attar often emphasizes his role as a listener. An extraordinary ear, you might say.
Okay, that's interesting. The speaker is actually defined by his listening. How does that work?
Well, Attar suggests, and it's a profound point, that you can't be a true speaker, a true kalim or mutakalim, one who speaks, unless you are first an excellent listener. Think about it even in our own lives. Deep communication requires deep listening. Attar elevates this principle to the divine level. He even subtly points to the Quran, where God is often named Sami, the all-hearing, before being named Basir, the all-seeing.
Ah, so hearing takes precedence even in the divine attributes mentioned. That puts a whole different spin on it.
It really does. Hearing becomes this primary mode of connection, of receptivity.
And Moses' hearing was depicted as exceptionally refined, wasn't it? The classic example is hearing, Ani and Allah. Indeed, I am Allah from the burning bush.
Precisely that moment. But Attar adds another layer here, which is crucial for understanding his universal message, and maybe for us too. He suggests the miracle wasn't that one specific tree suddenly spoke with God's voice.
Oh, so what was the miracle then?
The miracle, according to Attar's insight, was Moses' ear, his profound spiritual attunement. Attar implies that, in reality, all of existence, every particle, perpetually declares Ani an Allah. It's always being spoken.
Wow. So the divine voice is everywhere. Always.
Always. But only a certain kind of ear, a spiritually perfected hearing like Moses possessed, can actually perceive it. It connects directly to the concept of wahy, or divine revelation. It's not necessarily a message sent at a specific time, but rather an ever-present reality that the prophet becomes attuned to.
So the receiver's capacity is the key. That's a powerful idea. It puts the onus on our own state of being.
Exactly. It's about cultivating that inner ear.
Speaking of intense experiences, there's the famous event at Mount Tur, Moses asks to see God. There's a manifestation of divine light. And the mountain, well, the text says it shattered him. The word used is daka. What's Attar getting at with this shattering?
Daka is a very strong word. In this context, Attar uses it to signify fana. It's the annihilation, the dissolution of Moses's individual self, his ego, his musa-ness, you could say.
So not a physical shattering, but a shattering of the ego.
Precisely. His personal I, his sense of being a separate individual, just dissolves in the face of that overwhelming divine presence. It's only when that personal I is annihilated that the absolute I of God can manifest or be truly perceived. It's an emptying to allow for fullness.
A complete surrender of self.
Yeah.
And this experience, hearing God's word and witnessing this light, it apparently created an intense inner reaction in Moses. Attar uses the word jush, like a boiling or fervor.
Yes, jush implies this incredible inner turmoil, this boiling up of spiritual energy. It's the internal effect of receiving that divine word. And Attar uses this stunning poetic image.
The seven seas.
Exactly. He says this inner jush within Moses was so immense, so vast, that it became the source from which the seven seas, symbolizing all the waters of the world, emerged.
That's an incredible metaphor for the sheer scale of that inner experience. Almost unimaginable power contained within.
It points towards the immense inner potential within human beings, which Attar explores a lot. He insists we aren't just physical creatures stuck in the material world. He says humanity is fundamentally two-worlded.
Two-worlded, meaning?
Meaning we have our obvious connection to this physical world, but we also possess an inner reality, an inner window, if you like, that opens onto the unseen realm, the alam abib.
An inner window to the unseen. Is this related to the idea of the soul, the rawan?
Yes, very much so. The word rawan itself is significant. It comes from the Persian verb ravandan, which means to move, to flow, to go.
Ah, so the soul isn't static.
Not at all, according to this view. The soul, the rawan, is inherently dynamic, constantly moving, ideally ascending, flowing. This very movement is what opens that inner window to the divine. It also reframes how we think about distance from God. God isn't distant from us, ever. It's we who create distance through our spiritual inertia, our distraction, our lack of inner movement or flow. When the Rawan is actively moving, ascending, that perceived distance collapses.
So it's our lack of flow that creates the separation. That really resonates with the idea of needing an attuned ear. We need to be moving, flowing, to be receptive.
Precisely. It's about inner dynamism.
This connects beautifully to another key moment in Moses' story, that Attar focuses on the command at the burning bush, or near the sacred valley. Kalana Nalain, remove your sandals.
Yes, a very famous command.
But Attar, characteristically, sees more than just taking off footwear, right? What's the deeper symbolic meaning he unpacks?
For Attar, this command is profoundly symbolic. Removing the sandals represents shedding the sandals of the self. It means taking off the ego, the ananiyat, that clinging sense of I-ness, and all the worldly attachments that come with it.
So it's another metaphor for ego death, like the daka shattering.
Exactly. It's about preparing oneself, becoming inwardly bare and receptive, ready to stand in the pure presence of the divine. It's achieving a state where both inner vision and inner hearing are perfected, unclouded by the self. It parallels that journey from the rough yilim to the receptive kalim. Both involve shedding something.
Shedding the layers of self. This brings us back to God's speech to Moses, particularly those powerful declarations like Na and Allah. Indeed, I am Allah. There's a strong emphasis on God's ana, God's I. Why is that repetition so significant in Attar's view?
The repetition of God's absolute ana, his I, is key. Attar suggests that each time God asserts this absolute I, it chips away further at Moses' individual limited I. It reinforces the reality that there is ultimately only one true I.
And the human I.
The human assertion of I, when done independently of God, claiming absolute existence for oneself. That, for Attar and many mystics, is the root of spiritual error, even idolatry in a subtle sense. The true human I is meant to be understood as a reflection, a manifestation of God's absolute I.
That's a radical reorientation of selfhood.
It is, and the later mystic, Rumi, or Maulana, as he's known in the East, offers a powerful image for this. He speaks of humans having two mouths.
Two mouths.
Yes. One mouth speaks from the human ego, the limited self, the other mouth. Well, that one speaks when the ego is silent, dissolved. When that happens, the individual becomes a pure channel, and the words that come forth are essentially divine expressions, echoes of that ultimate ana.
So when the personal I gets out of the way, something larger speaks through you.
That's the ideal, yes. Becoming a transparent medium for truth.
It sounds like a state that requires constant vigilance, though. How does one maintain that dissolution of ego? Does Attar offer guidance on that?
He does, often implicitly through the narrative, but it connects to core spiritual practices. Think of the Quranic injunction often associated with Moses. Aqama salat li dikri, establish prayer for my remembrance.
Well, remembrance.
Exactly. Continuous remembrance, prayer, spiritual discipline. These are the practices seen as vital to keep the ego in check, to prevent that limited human I from reasserting itself and obscuring the divine Ana. It's an ongoing process of alignment and surrender.
Wow. We've covered so much ground today, just through this one passage in Attar's Musabatama. It's really incredible how he uses Moses' story as this rich tapestry to weave together ideas about listening versus speaking, the annihilation of self, our connection to the unseen.
He truly does. Attar is a master storyteller, but the stories are always vehicles for these profound spiritual and philosophical insights. He's constantly pushing us to see beyond the literal surface.
It certainly feels like a journey inward, just discussing it.
That's the effect Attar often has.
So as we finish this particular deep dive, maybe here's something for you to reflect on. Attar presents Moses needing to remove his sandals, his ego, his attachments, and allowing his self to be shattered by divine light in order to truly hear and perceive. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What sandals are we wearing in our daily lives? What aspects of our own ego, our own attachments, might be preventing us from, well, from truly listening, from cultivating that deeper ear that Attar suggests Moses developed, the ear that can perceive the subtle divine whispers that might be all around us?
That's a powerful question to sit with. How do we align our own small I with that ultimate Ana?
Something to really ponder. Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration within Wisdom Unveiled. Until our next deep dive, keep seeking those insights, keep pondering the depths, and keep unveiling wisdom in your own way.